Guys, welcome back to college football game week number 3, I should say. Tennessee and Florida, what a rivalry in the SEC. And even though I say rivalry, it hasn't been much of a rivalry. Florida dominated the series the last 18 years, going 16-2. Tennessee did win last year. Do you know the last time Tennessee went into Florida and won? 2001, guys. So you're taking a team that, yes, looked good against Virginia. Yes, looked good against Austin Peay. And I understand many of you watched Florida at Utah and saw that 24-11 game and thought how ugly it was. But you look at teams making their first road trip in a hostile environment against an SEC foe. That is not a favorable situation. And if you say, well, Tennessee did play their opener in a neutral setting, it wasn't a neutral setting. The game was played at the home of the Tennessee Titans in Nashville. The crowd was theirs. They were excited to play in an NFL arena. And yes, they beat Virginia, who had to cancel the last few games of their season because of a tragedy on the field. I take nothing out of that 499-yard performance in that game for Joe Milton. You know, Joe Milton, even though he's played those 2 week foes, is still only completing 67%. And that's last week with a home game against Austin Peay, where they rushed for 228 yards, 7.1. 21 of 33 does not impress me when you have a better team at home with a team that can run at will and play action working. Now, I'm going to go back to the Florida game, and full disclosure, I was on Florida against Utah. You know, it was a situation where I thought they could run the ball well enough. Their defense was good enough. But let's remember this. Turnovers cost Florida. They played an ugly game, and as far as special teams, they've played 2 miserable games. Florida's special teams are not good. But the offense against Utah did put up 346 yards, and more importantly, held Utah to 270 yards. Now, Utah was without their quarterback. They did have an experienced backup. We saw him play well last week, you know, in their win. But they gained 100. They held Utah to 105 yards rushing, 3.5 yards per carry. So you give me that matchup against a Florida team that I think can keep the game close. Graham Mertz is not going to be a great quarterback, the Wisconsin transfer. You know, he's completed 74% because of last week's 18 of 23 performance against McNeese State, but his numbers are not going to compare anywhere to Milton's. But I do know this. Billy Napier is Florida's coach. He, of course, was the coach of ULL. This guy knows how to get his team ready as an underdog. He has covered 79% of his games as a dog, going 15-4-1 ATS. And when I went to the database as well, if you're playing game 3 and you're playing a conference opponent and you won your first 2 games and now you're an away favorite of 3 or more. So Tennessee won game 1, Tennessee won game 2. They're now playing their conference opener in game number 3 as an away favorite of 3 or more. Those teams have gone 24-29, 45.3% against the spread, and a number to pay attention to, 16 overs and 33 unders. That is 67.3% to the under. So while I lean Florida plus the points in this game, I do like the under even more. Florida's going to run the ball. I think Tennessee wants to try to establish the run on the road in this SEC opener. Give me the under in this one. I think the number's inflated by at least 3 or 4 points. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and make sure to check out all the great college football and NFL game previews by the incredible staff of Cappers at WagerTalk.